Okay, welcome to my introductory video on Rubik's Cube and its faces. So a Rubik's Cube has 6 faces. Now these faces depend on what your orientation is. If you're facing this face and you're doing a certain algorithm, then this is our front. So it's called F, or Fi for F prime or F inverse counterclockwise. And that's front counterclockwise, F prime, and then F normal, F. And then we have right, and when you are facing this front, and this is your right, this is right, and this is right inverse or right prime, like so. Then you have the opposite, which is moving in a different direction, so that when this is right prime, this is just left normal, because when I face it, it is left, and this is left I, or left prime, which we just call Li, and then there's L, just L. Then you have D for down, which is going to be D like this, clockwise, and Di, D inverse, D prime, counterclockwise. And so you'll see online a lot of people will use either D and Di, or they'll use B and Bi, because they'll call this a bottom. And then you have your top. When you are facing it, you will notice it'll be different in the direction compared to the down side. The top, or the U, which is what it's most popular called. I like to call it top or T. But it's most often they use UI and U. So U is the up normal, and UI would be like this. I like to call it T and TI. And whenever I get confused, I will actually look a little bit more at it instead of just looking at the front. Even though our focus, when we call these particular faces, we always want to face them. Now, there is also the back. Most cubers do not use the back. Some actually do use the back. But if you did use the back, definitely you might want to label it something different than B if you're going to call this B down here instead of D. So the method I use is the Deadmore method, and it doesn't include that. And many methods don't include the back part. They usually focus on things that they can see, so that way you can use algorithms, and you can also use just plain sight to kind of figure out where to move things and whatnot. So again, we have front, right, left, down, and up or top. And then you have also the inverse of each one. So if you have top prime, like so. Right, and you have right, and you have right prime, like so. D, and you have D prime. L, and you have L prime, etc., etc. So it's pretty straightforward on that. Now that we have the faces, we need to understand the cubies as well. So here's the cube, and then there's these little guys. So here's the center. It only has one color. So centers only have one color. And then we have the edges, which are the cubies that are in between the corners. And they have 2 tiles. And then the corners have 3 tiles. This is important because when it's a corner, when it's a center, you just need to worry about it. So if I'm going to make a focus and I want to fill a tile, then I move whatever I need to move into whatever position I want to move it into. And then I start forming my whole face. And so while I'm trying to fill out my face, and I'm trying to get corners in that match. And as it might have it, I already lucked out on one of them. It's already here in place. So it has the blue corner, and it's even in the right orientation. So we have the orange here and the black there, so it's definitely the right corner. And I don't even need to do an algorithm because it's already in place. Also, I have this edge here. It's already in place, and so I don't need to worry about that one. So I'm going to be looking for things that match up. So it has to match up. You can't just fill in blue all over. It has to match up with whatever tiles it has. So if it has 2 tiles, those need to match up. And if it has 3 tiles, those need to be matched up. Okay, and so that's really important. Another thing to remember is that the centerpiece is always going to have an opposite. And so if I fill in a whole tile that and I do it correctly, I'm going to have nothing but half T's. I'm going to have this full, and I'm going to have it up to a half T. Then the next thing is I'm going to fill in this second layer, and then I'm going to flip it up, and I should have nothing but green here, which I don't yet. I don't have all green. If I fill in the blue, I should have all green right here. They won't be in the necessary position, but then after that, I just have like 3 or 4 more steps, and then I'm done. But then I focus all my energy on filling this bottom one right here. Like I said, it's really important that you understand that when you place your cubies, that they match up with the colors that we want them to match up with. Okay, but you don't have to worry about ever having a green on a blue cube. And so there are certain colors you don't need to worry about when it comes to the blue, and that's, well, it's just one color, and it's the green. Okay, and then this is normally white on most cubes, so white would always have its opposite be yellow, and orange will always have its opposite be red. And those are the parts of a cube. Now we can get started on solving one.